Hey, welcome back to the channel. In this lesson, we're going to solve this new system of equations, but notice that there is a little bit of a twist to this one. We have a system of equations that not all the equations are three variables. In fact, the last one you can see 2y minus 4z is actually only two variables. So we're going to go through and solve this. Okay, let's get into it. Now, the first thing that should notice is that we have the last equation only did the variable y and z. That will dictate what we need to do with the first two equations so that we have a new equation with two unknowns, and that way we can create a system of two equations and two unknowns and then solve. But the new equation that we're going to really get from the first two equations, equation 1 and equation 2, we have to manipulate the x out of these two equations so that we only have y and z. So that's what we have to do, because the third equation is actually forcing us to do that, because that way we can only solve for y and z. We only have two equations and two unknowns. So let's do this. First two equations, we're going to rewrite. And after rewriting it, now we have to focus on getting rid of the x's. So we have x here, 2x here. So that means we have to multiply the first equation by both sides of the first equation by 2, because you see the second equation has got a 2, and that way we can subtract equation 2 from equation 1. So let's go through and multiply this right through in each term and then rewrite. Okay, so now we have these two equations. I manipulated equation 1 by multiplying the 2 through both sides of that equation, and I got the equation 1 star. And then now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and then subtract. So we get equation 1 minus equation 2. We're subtracting the 2x minus 2x, that's 0. 2y minus negative y, that will give us 3y. So let's do so that would be positive 3y. And then 2z, subtract away from 3z, that's negative z. And then negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. So now let's call this the new equation A, and then we're going to pair that up with the equation 3, which is right there. Let's call that equation B, even though we have not manipulated it. Okay, now we have these two equations, a system of two equations with two unknowns, y and z. We're going to go ahead and now solve. And to solve this, we're going to choose a variable. It seems that probably let's do a variable y, so that there is a new way of doing this, because notice that this is 2y. If you want to get rid of the y variable in from the both side, from both equations, we need to have the same coefficients and opposite in terms of the signs, or subtract or add. So one is 3y, the other is 2y. So that means we need to come up with the greatest common multiple of 2 and 3, and that will be 6. That means we both of the y values for both equation A and equation B, should be 6y and 6y. That means we have to multiply the first equation by 2 and multiply the second equation by 3, because 6 is the common multiple of 3 and 2. Now when we do that, we're going to rewrite. So when we rewrite, this is what we get. The new equation A, let's call this A star because we have manipulated it, and that's B star. Now we have the new system, okay, after multiplying 2 and 3 to equation B and equation A respectively. Then we are coming here and we say, let's do equation A minus equation B. 6y minus 6y, that's 0. We don't have to write that. Minus 2z minus negative 12z, that's positive 10z. That's equal to, and then negative 10 minus 24, negative 34. Okay, and in this case, z, divide both sides by 10, and we get negative 34 divided by 10, or negative 3.4. So that's the value of z. Okay, now let's go and substitute negative 3.4 into equation A. We're going to plug it back into the equation A, and let's see what we can get. You can plug it into equation B, doesn't really matter. Either one will work. Equation A will be a little bit easier, so let's do that. 3y minus z is equal to negative 5, so 3y minus z is equal to negative 5. Right, when we plug the value of z, negative 3.4, into the equation A, my 3y minus z equal to negative 5, we will get 3y minus negative 3.4 equal to negative 5. We manipulate it, and then we get y is equal to approximately 0.5333, repeating actually. This repeats forever. And then once we get that, we're going to use z and y value. We're going to go back and plug it into one of the originals. So we're going to choose equation 1. We're going to plug that in for the y and z, and we solve for x, and that would be our final answer. So let's do that. All right, and we have y equal to 0.53 repeating, z equal to negative 3.4. We're going to go back, plug it into the original. This is equation 1 out of the first equation in the system, and then we plug it in, and you get x equals to negative 2 plus 2.87, and 87 is repeating in this case, and then x equal to positive 8.87 repeating. All right, so now we have, so the final answer, x equal to 0.87 repeating, and in this case we have all three variables solved, and then you need to go and do a final check and use the equation that you haven't used. So very easily you can use the last equation or the second equation. We haven't used the second equation, so you can go ahead and use the second equation, and you notice that the answer is correct. All right, have a fantastic day. Hope this video has been useful for you. Come back again and see you next time.